Come on over, take a seat. There are some free chairs over here that Lindsay brought that are extras, and so if you're a person who would like a chair, please help yourself to one and move it to a place that feels good to you. We're going to start with a little welcoming opening ritual. Ritual can be a great way to help us feel present, to feel welcomed, and to bring our full selves into this space. I'd like you to take a breath with me. Feel your connection to the ground. Feel your connection to each other. I welcome you. I welcome people from New Hampshire and Vermont, from Massachusetts, Maine, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Tennessee. Did I miss any? I welcome people who are born in the state or province they live, and people who are born in a different state. People who are born in this country and people who are born in a different country. I welcome those who know where home is and those who are searching for home. I welcome people of African descent, Black, African American, Asian and Pacific Island descent, Arab descent, European descent, people who identify as Hispanic, Latinx, folks who are indigenous to this land, and those of mixed multiple descent. I welcome the languages spoken here: Spanish, French, English, German, Tewa, Italian, Dutch, Hindi, Marathi, Hebrew, Norwegian, Polish, Greek, Tigrinya, Amharic. Did we miss any that would like to be acknowledged? I welcome people who have been part of No Coal, No Gas for a long time, and those who are new to this community. I welcome our young people, folks in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, anyone in their 80s listening in today, all of us. I welcome your class background: working class, middle class, owning class, and those who aren't sure where they fit on the class spectrum in the U.S. I welcome people who struggle to get the basic resources necessary for survival, and those who have more access to those resources. I welcome your gender. I welcome women, men, trans folk, non-binary folk, genderqueer folk, and everyone for whom the labels don't quite fit. I welcome your body, the different ways you experience your body and the ways you're experiencing that today. I welcome your mind, folks who are neurotypical, folks who are neurodivergent. I welcome your mental health, however it is today. I welcome people with disabilities and chronic illness, both visible and invisible. I welcome survivors. I welcome people who are struggling with addiction and people who are in recovery. I welcome your faith practice today, your spirituality, those from different religious traditions, to Quakers and Unitarians, Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Jews, those who are seekers, agnostic, atheist. Are there others that would like to be acknowledged? And I welcome those for whom none of those categories quite fit. I welcome people who identify as activists and people who don't. I welcome queer people, gay, lesbian, bisexual, heterosexual, pansexual, people and everyone for whom none of those labels fit. I welcome your sexuality, those who are sexually active and those who are not, those who are demisexual and asexual. I welcome people who are single, partnered, married, dating, solo, in monogamous or polyamorous relationships. I welcome your emotions, your joy, grief, rage, contentment, disappointment, curiosity, anxiety, your enthusiasm, your hesitation, your openness, and anything else you may be feeling. I welcome your families, genetic and chosen. I welcome everyone who has supported you so that you can be here today. I welcome our elders, mentors, and ancestors, those living, those who have passed away, and those in this space here with us today.
Thanks, Sonia. Can everybody hear me? Thanks. Thank you all so much for coming. It's amazing to see you all. If you came in just now during the welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad you've arrived. It's really great to see everybody. If you can't hear anything during this, especially because of the wind, please raise your hand and we will talk louder. Cool. Over here today takes place on Nandakana, which is the traditional ancestral homeland of the Abenaki, Pennacook, and Wabanaki peoples past and present. In particular, this place we are visiting today is the unceded land of the Pennacook people, and a crucial part of the Merrimack watershed, which extends from here all the way back that way to the confluence of the Hooksett and Winnipesaukee rivers in Franklin, New Hampshire, and all the way downstream to the Gulf of Maine. This place, and this section of river here behind us, if you want to turn around, you can look at it. The river's over there. It's really beautiful. This place are known as Merrimack, or Swiftwater Place, which has been later translated to Merrimack. We acknowledge and honor with gratitude this land and waterways and the Almabak, or people, who have stewarded Nandakana throughout the generations. We also want to take a moment to acknowledge and honor the continued struggles and courage as we speak on this land, on this continent, and around the world. As we gather here today to connect and move forward in our commitment to collective liberation, our comrades all across the globe are struggling against oppression, exploitation, and the continued violence of an extractive, racist system. We honor the connections between these struggles and all those who have and continue to confront the domination system and build a better world in the face of destruction.
Hi, my name's Sonia Berthasell. I'm one of your MCs today. My pronouns are she, her, hers.
I'm Leaf. I'm another MC. I use they, them pronouns. Really happy to be here. Thanks for coming.
Many of you are familiar faces. Some of you are new friends, to me at least. Welcome. It's so good to have you here. Woohoo! We have today for you a bit of a program. We have some really amazing speakers who are going to share. We have a skit. We have some time for sharing with one another, and some time for ceremony. Once we've concluded this program, which will take a couple of hours, then we've got time for collective art building together. We're gonna have some spooky and festive art time to be together and celebrate as a campaign. A couple of housekeeping announcements before we begin. It is the COVID times. Thank you all for wearing your masks and socially distancing in order to keep one another safe. Please just communicate openly and check in with each other and your own level of consent around COVID safety as we go. Please use hand sanitizer and be mindful of the safety of others as you help yourself to snacks in the rear. If you do happen to need a bathroom during the day, there is one about a 3-minute drive away at a local gas station. And if you would like to take a buddy with you to use the restroom, please feel empowered to ask a buddy to go with you. I do also want to acknowledge that we may have the occasional police friend circling the block here, just keeping an eye on us. And what we're doing here today is perfectly legal. We have permission to be in this parking lot, and so it's wonderful that our police friends are scoping on by. But if it happened that those folks wanted to come chat with us, we've got a couple designated police liaisons who you can send to do that chat. So police liaisons, would you raise your hand? There's Emma Schoenberg over here, and Olivia in the yellow mask. So you can make that connection if needed.
Continuing off of that, We have snacks, we have hand sanitizer, we have cider. Feel free to help yourself. We'll also be having more food later on. Please take care of your bodily needs. And also, if you need to get any more food or go to a bathroom within walking distance, you can go across the footbridge, across the river, to the bathroom across over there in the Roby's Diner. Just make sure to ask before you go in there. But they've been very friendly to us in the past. So yeah, feel free. If you need anything at any time, please reach out and take care of yourself and each other. And we're super happy to be here and move along together. We're going to talk about some pair share, about where are we in the campaign? What have we been doing? How are we coming into this? What's been inspiring us? Before we do that, just want to take a moment and acknowledge we've been doing this for a while. This is our reunion of over a year of collective work against this coal plant and also organizing across the region. So if you'd like, you could take a moment to give yourselves and the people who can't be here today but have been part of this a little round of applause. I'd also just like to say the fact that we have some police watching us for a fall fun time in a parking lot is a bit of a testament to the amount of power we've built over the past year, that this small gathering with pumpkins is considered a threat to a coal plant. So, just acknowledging that. Good job, everyone.
All right, so I'd encourage you to find a friend who you don't know very well yet, maybe someone you've never met, and take just the next 3 minutes to introduce yourself and share a way that you felt connected with or been inspired by this campaign over the course of the next year. Go forth, find a buddy, and we'll come back together in 3 minutes.
Couldn't decide whether to take photos of the trees or the bones or the pockets. Awfully beautiful.
It's a little bit past prime where I am in Maine, and so it's wonderful to calm a little bit further south and get like peak again. That's perfect. I mean,
Not too many leaves left on that tree.
yeah, everything happens before my 18th birthday and everything.
Well, so how'd you like the final on your video there?
I came out great. I loved it.
I saw.
I also really enjoyed it. I had the next episode that you had done that was about community power, and that was by the culture were there.
Basically, between community power and carbon pricing, you know. I mean, there's a lot of other things that have to go on with it, but without those two being part of it.
Totally. Yeah, I was like, you're lucky.
Between November 3rd and the end of December, I got another schedule
Hi friends, let's come back together. Gather round, folks. Would anyone like to share something that came up for you that you loved chatting with when you were talking to your buddy? We could take a couple of shout outs if anyone has something to offer.
We're neighbors.
Your neighbors! You met a neighbor, that's wonderful. I definitely saw some beautiful connections being made and community being built, which is wonderful because the goals of this campaign, as I think many of you are aware, are our number one goal is always to build unity and community. What's our second goal? Does anyone remember? To demonstrate what's possible. We can build power together. If we're going to show that we can shut down a coal plant, and that means that other people can do that too. There's power in this community that we're building. And then objective number 3, of course, is to shut down the coal plants and get New England free from fossil fuels as soon as possible. So thank you for being here today and being part of this campaign and part of those laudable goals. Leaf is going to introduce our next thing.
Thanks, Sonia. Yeah, so today is really a celebration of how far we've come in all those goals and also how far we still have to go, and all working together to connect with each other, to connect with this place, and reaffirm our commitment to this struggle together. So we're going to have speakers who have talked about the actions that we've done over the past year, all the different things that we've accomplished, and also about our journeys outside of this campaign and in organizing around the region. And then we're also going to have, towards the end, after we celebrate all the amazing things we've done together, we're also going to talk about what's yet to come and the really, quite frankly, terrifying things that we're facing, but that we are building community and unity so that we can face that. So we're also going to have ceremony to talk about what comes next, how we can reaffirm our commitments and move forward towards our collective liberation. So to start with all of that, we're going to have a song, which is going to be led by Jay, who is a member of the Climate Disobedience Center and one of the first organizers with No Coal, No Gas. Jay.
I made song sheets. I am excited about them. I'm going to propose that the emotional direction of singing today goes like this. So I would invite you to find the little song on the bottom on one of the sides that says that the way knows the way. And I know some of you know this, but some of you are learning it for the first time. So just going to teach it. Probably teach them all today so that everyone can join in. I will sing a line, and then you'll sing it back, and then I'll sing another line, and then you'll sing it back, and then we'll eventually sing them all together. Okay. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel the way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way, the way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. Let's put it all together. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel the way knows, the way knows the way. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel the way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way. One more time. You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to plan the way, trust the way, feel the way knows, the way knows, the way knows the way.
Thank you, Jay. Do we all want to give ourselves a little bit of a
clap for singing together? Yay. Great job, everybody. Okay, so now we're just going to do a little recap. What have we done together? What has been the past several, which frankly, we're celebrating a year of the campaign since the action at Bow on September 28th last year, but this campaign has actually gone back much further than that and has been building for a really long time. So we're just going to take a few moments, really quick Spark Notes version, to talk about our history and what we've accomplished together, and also acknowledging for some people this is their first ever No Coal No Gas event. Can we give everybody a round of applause if this is your first one? Welcome, thank you so much for being here. So, we're just going to look back and as a group, tell the story in 3 minutes. Ready? Okay. So, if we look back to the very beginning of the campaign, what did it look like? Jay, would you like to shout out the start of this campaign? Yay! So, several years ago, a group of Quakers went on a picnic and camped out on the railroad tracks in front of the plant, blocking the tracks. And that was one of the starts of this campaign. Amazing. Okay, Emma, what happened after that? Yeah, come on up here.
It was 2018. We'd gathered as the Climate Disobedience Center, also at a Quaker retreat center. There's a theme, I guess. Not a Quaker. And Jay stood up at a table and was like, you know, I think I want to talk about the coal plant in Bow, New Hampshire. Alex was there, Wen was there, and we had a little like powwow about it. And we said, what are we going to do first? And I don't remember where the idea to steal coal came from. But I do know at one point I was like, yes, we're going to do it bucket by bucket. And then I invented my first hashtag.
If you look behind you, that hashtag is now on a banner. 2 banners. Woohoo! Okay, so there was the idea to steal the coal. Then what happened? Emma Schaap. Yay, we liberated over 500 pounds of coal. We went into the plant and we took it out so that nobody could burn it. And then, what did we do with it? Yes, Quincy, we dumped it in front of the State House. We delivered it. Amazing. Great. Okay. So that was our signal action. That's when we announced to the world, we are going to shut down this plant. If those in power won't do it, we're going to do it ourselves. Awesome. All right, Dana, what did we do after we announced what we were going to do?
There was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, maybe just 2 of the hundreds, I don't know. But we came to Concord, New Hampshire. 400s of the people, so many hundreds of the people, and we gathered in that ball field on a really hot day, and hundreds of us marched into the plant, and there were so many cops, and there was so much singing, and there was so much power, and there was what? And there was a freaking helicopter that we waved at a lot of times, and we had lots of buckets, and we were ready to take out that coal bucket by bucket, but unfortunately our police friends had other ideas. But 69? 7? High 60s of humans got arrested, happily and joyfully together, trying to build a better world.
Thanks, Dana. All right, so we had attempted to liberate coal. We had liberated quite a bit of it. Johnny, what happened after that? Where did we blockade one of those trains? Amazing. We actually did something that had never been done before in the climate movement as we know of. We blockaded the same train 3 times. And the 3rd time was right over there on that bridge. If you want to look at it and wave, we'll see it later. But there's a giant railroad bridge, and we blockaded it there for quite a while. After that...
More trains.
Yes, Julie.
More trains.
So many more trains. Some of them stopped, some of them didn't, some of them we jumped in front of. Cody, do you want to tell what happened with the last train?
We stopped it again with a big structure thing.
We built structures, we were camping out on them, lots of train blockades. There were 6 trains that came between November and January of last year, and we did 6 train blockades. Woo! Great. Okay, what happened after that? So much court. We went to court like every week. We're still going to court. Yesterday we went to court. We went to court Valentine's Day. Absolutely. Great. And then the pandemic happened. Would a couple people like, yeah, it sucks. Bad times. Would anyone like to share a couple things that we've been doing since the pandemic's been going on? Dropping banners, yeah. Olivia had this amazing banner drop. And Alex, woohoo. Isaac, what else have we been doing?
We've been on strike.
We did. Do you want to?
The utility companies.
We did. We're going to talk more about that later with a theatrical performance. But we've been having a strike against utility companies where people are not paying their utility bills to protest the fact that that money is going to keep this plant open when it really shouldn't. All right. What else have we been doing? Yes.
A lot of folks who are involved in this campaign have been standing in solidarity with movements for Black liberation and other really important things that are happening right now, and that's amazing. That's an incredible use of our power to be in solidarity with building the world we want to see on all kinds of fronts.
Thanks, Sonia. So yeah, as the pandemic's been going on, there's been a lot happening within No Coal, No Gas and also without. And we're going to talk about that more in a little bit, but there's been a lot of really important mutual aid and solidarity work going on. So thanks to everyone who's been involved in that. And we're going to move on to speakers in a sec, but just really want to celebrate. We've done a whole lot in the past year. A couple things have come out of this that are really concrete. One, most importantly, is the community that we've built and how that's allowed us to then step into, as the pandemic has happened and other crises, into mutual aid work, into solidarity work, into showing up together in the face of escalating crises. We've also significantly reduced the amount that the plant is running. After doing some research recently, we realized that the plant this year has been running 80% less than it was the year before. So that's only 20% of the past plant operations, and that is because of the work that we've been doing to make it increasingly unfeasible to run the plant. We also noticed that the trains stopped coming after we blocked them enough times and resumed under the cover of the pandemic. So that again shows that we were making it so hard to move the trains through that they stopped until they had the cover of lockdown and the pandemic to continue. So we're making a real impact together. So, and here we are today. Hooray! We are still going on. Things are still moving forward. So that's just a recap of our history. And thank you all so much for being part of it and for joining it now.
Next up, I'd like to welcome to the stage Samra. We've got some really wonderful speakers today that are folks from New Hampshire who are going to share a little bit about their work and their relationship to this campaign. Samra is a graduate from the Peter T. Paul College of Business and Economics at UNH. She's always been one to speak up, but UNH is where she became heavily involved in social justice, partaking in forming the 8% Speaks movement at the university. From helping organize peaceful protests to volunteering as a peacekeeper in recent protests in Concord to speaking to the youth, Samra is always trying to bring attention to critical issues. It is her passion for justice that brought her to 350 New Hampshire as an electoral climate organizer. Welcome, Samra.
Hi everyone. My name is Samrawit. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an electoral climate organizer with 350 New Hampshire. So I'm from Ethiopia originally, but I've lived in Bo for about 6 years. Now, 6 years isn't a very long time, and you know what else isn't a very long time? The 10 or so years we have to stop burning coal before it's really too late. And I'm here today because I'm aware of the climate crisis, because I'm aware that just 100 companies alone are responsible for over 70% of emissions worldwide. I'm here because I'm responsible to use any and all platform and power that I have to make sure such companies are no longer operating, starting with the Merrimack Station located right here in my home. That is why I'm here today, to fight for my family, friends, and my community's right to breathe clean air. There is no reason why the plant hasn't already shut down. Anyone invested needs to put their economical greed aside and shut it down. So, and what good is economical gain if it will result in destroying Mother Earth, the one and only host that we have? And in the words of Gandhi, Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. And monetary gain won't get you far if there's no clean air to breathe. Because the thing is, no one is exempt from this climate crisis. So anyone involved in the fossil fuel industry is also digging a grave for themselves and any children to come. And although no one is exempt from the impacts, it'd be ignorant of me to not acknowledge the racial injustice which the fossil fuel industry perpetrates. Communities of color and low-income communities are disproportionately affected by this industry. And according to a 2014 report from NAACP, 68% of African Americans live within a 30-mile radius of a coal plant while holding only 1.1% of energy-related jobs and only gaining 0.01% of the revenue. And living in close proximity to plants can be tied to increased birth defects, heart disease, asthma, lung disease, and etc. I don't know about you, but there's no amount of money that would have me compromise the health of my family and future children. And the thing is, the people investing in this industry wouldn't either. That's why they don't have coal plants in their backyards, because they know the harm it causes. They're dumping waste into our towns and polluting our air. And my message to them is, if you wouldn't want it in your home where your children and your family live, then shut the plant down, because I sure as heck don't want it in mine. So to everyone who's here and to everybody who's listening in, please do your part. Spread the message. Knowledge only becomes power once it's shared. And lastly, we need to make sure we're electing climate champions in this upcoming election. So whether you do it by mail or in person, please go vote. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Samra. Thanks, Samra. You're amazing. All right, our next speakers are going to be Kai and Anna Rose. If you all would like to come on up here, take your time. But Anna Rose Marion is a senior at Phillips Exeter Academy. She interned with 350 New Hampshire over the summer and is now the training lead for the youth program. Kai Parlett is a recent high school graduate who is taking a gap year before attending the University of New Hampshire to study earth science and political science. Kai began working with 350 New Hampshire as a youth fellow before joining the staff team full-time. Anna Rose and Kai have become close friends through their activism, championing the phrase, "Friends who overthrow the government together stay together." Nice! Today they will be speaking about their perspective on the climate crisis as young people and why Merrimack Station needs to be shut down to preserve their future. Y'all ready?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Kai. I use she, her pronouns. I'm 18, and I'm an electoral climate organizer with 350 New Hampshire.
I'm Anna Rose. I use she, her pronouns. I'm 17, and I'm one of 350 New Hampshire's high school fellows. We are both young people growing up in an unprecedented era. We want to share with you the impacts that the climate crisis and burning of fossil fuels have on our lives.
I grew up in a tiny town in northern New Hampshire. In the winters, extreme athletes travel from all over the country to climb into Tuckerman's Ravine and ski down the side of Mount Washington. And in the summers, the population of my town triples with summer folks who drive from everywhere in the United States to spend their summers in New Hampshire. So needless to say, a really large portion of our economy relies on tourists coming to explore the natural beauty of the White Mountains. Burning fossil fuels at Merrimack Station is causing climate change and destroying the environment in my hometown. Our winters are already becoming shorter and warmer, and our summers are drier. If change doesn't happen soon, tourists will no longer flock to the White Mountains. The climate crisis will cause the economy to suffer immensely. I want to preserve the wonderful place that I grew up, and that can't happen as long as Merrimack Station is running.
I have lived in Rye, New Hampshire for most of my life. Our community identity is our connection to the ocean. We are a beach town through and through. Every summer, our beaches are polka dotted with multicolored umbrellas and towels are lined in rows. Surfers, swimmers, and sandcastle makers alike revel in the sunshine and cool ocean breeze. During this time, I volunteer at the Seacoast Science Center in the safari camps, teaching young kids ages 4 to 11 about the beauty of the ecosystems of ecology of our coastal environment. My family has built a life in my town. Our home is here, my extended family is here, the people that I've known almost all my life are here. But if we continue to burn fossil fuels, this here will no longer exist. The ability to return to the place that I grew up as I get older will be stolen away. If the climate crisis is causing global sea level rise at the rate we are going, our coastline will be destroyed. My town and my home will be underwater. Where I live will no longer exist because of the burning of fossil fuels, because of the burning of coal in places like the Merrimack Generating Station.
If the rural mountain town where I grew up is going to continue to thrive, we need to shut Merrimack Station down.
If I ever want to return to the place that holds all of my childhood memories, we need to shut it down.
This is just one piece of what we stand to lose, but we are fortunate. Millions of people across New Hampshire, across the United States, and across the world will become climate refugees due to the climate crisis.
Systemic racism and classism that plague our world will exacerbate all of these climate catastrophes. We are all in the same storm, but we are not in the same boat. We have a responsibility to shut down Merrimack Generating Station for our community and our communities far away.
It is time for us to shut it down, bucket by bucket. If you want local farmers to continue to be able to grow their produce in New Hampshire, we need to shut it down.
If you want to be protected from asthma, heart attacks, and dozens of other medical conditions, we need to shut it down.
If you want to be able to breathe clean air, drink clean water, and have a livable future, we need to shut it down.
We will be heard. We will not stop until those in power listen to us. When we took matters into our own hands last year, we became an undeniable force. We liberated 500 pounds of coal, bucket by bucket. We blocked coal trains from coming into the plant, and on September 28, 2019, we staged the largest climate mobilization in the history of New Hampshire.
This is my future. This is the future of my hometown here in New Hampshire. And we know there's more at stake. It is past time to shut Merrimack Station down. It is possible. We've done it before with the Granite Bridge pipeline. Because of our grassroots organizing, we stopped the Granite Bridge pipeline and halted gas expansion. We did what many thought was impossible and showed this region that we will not stand idly by while the fossil fuel industry tries to step on our communities. We showed Liberty Utilities that they cannot burn our future, but our work is not over. I am not done. Merrimack Generating Station is next, and we will shut it down.
As the world burns, corporations and the politicians they support sit back and let the money roll in. I am only 17 years old. My generation, our generation, will be the ones who will suffer the most because of the willful negligence of those in power. We cannot let politicians and the corporations dictate our future, so we are taking action now. We need change today, not tomorrow. Our generation's future depends on your continued commitment to the fight. I am not old enough to vote, so I need you to be my voice. I am not old enough to participate in nonviolent direct actions and get arrested for what I believe in, so I need you to go in my place. My future depends on your present actions and hinges on the shutdown of the Merrimack Generating Station and other facilities like it.
We are all here because we are going to shut down Merrimack Station and other fossil fuel projects in our communities. This plant continues to receive millions of dollars in subsidies to stay open, but we will not be complicit. We are taking matters into our own hands, shutting down this plant, and protecting our community's health and well-being.
This is my future. If the town I grew up in and the rest of New Hampshire's seacoast are going to survive and continue to exist, our first step needs to be shutting down the Merrimack Generating Station.
We will show the owners of Merrimack Station that we are building enough power to come back time and time again until they shut it down.
We will show fossil fuel companies that we will not stand for investment in fossil fuel infrastructure.
We will force our political leaders to act.
And we will not quit or stay quiet until we win. And we will win.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I feel so inspired. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Yeah. We are building unity and we're building community and we're going to shut this down. I'm so proud to be here with all of you today and with everyone who's tuning in remotely. Hi, we love you. Jay, let's have another song. And for folks in the skit, that's going to come up next after this song, so you're on deck.
Why do I fold my pieces of paper up into tiny little things? Oh dear. So, in the midst of our blockading trains last year, a friend of some of ours and a member of the climate movement, a musician from Brattleboro named Lisa Schneckenberger, who had been involved in climate action over the last couple of years, was incredibly inspired by the train blockades that were happening. And Lisa is an amazing fiddler and a songwriter, and she put pen to paper and hands to piano and wrote a song inspired by the train blockades that No Coal No Gas was doing last winter. So I think maybe the easiest way to do this is let's just teach the chorus, and then if you know the verses, feel free to chime in on those, and we'll sing the choruses all together. The funky thing to know in this is that the third verse has a funny little modulation in it. So if you're ready for it, sing it. If you're not ready for it, hold until the new pitch kind of settles out, and then we'll carry on. Cool. So this is Labor On by Lisa Schneckenberger. So the chorus goes simply like this, and we'll sing it once, one line at a time, and then let's check for pitch, and then we'll try and do the whole thing. Labor on, my children, labor on, my friend, labor on, my children, labor on, my friend, labor on, my children, we will not let this be the end. Labor on, my children, we will not let this be the end. Let's sing a chorus a few times through. labor on, my children, labor on, my friend, labor on, my children. We will not let this be the end. Labor on, children, labor on, my friend, labor on, my children. We will not let this be the end. When the darkness overtakes you and you shiver in the cold, when disparity wakes you and you know you must be bold, when you put your body on the line, don't hesitate and fear. We know the train, it is coming, it is here. Labor on, my children, labor on, my friends, labor on, my children. We will not let this be the end. When they dig the earth and turn it into dollars to be made, you can't help but try to save her for her sake. Don't be afraid. While the fire it rages onward, burning everything it sees, and destruction consumes our innocent seed. Labor on, children, labor on, my friends, labor on, children, when the powerful corrupt us, complacency sets in, they'll distract you, they'll placate you, but we cannot let them win. With each step we take together, we are stronger by the hour, and we are rising, we are shining, we are the power. Labor on, my children, labor on, my friends, labor on, my children. We will not let this be the end. One more time. Labor on, my children, labor on, my friends, labor on, my children. We will not let this be the end.
Thanks, Jake. Thanks, everybody. So, for this next part, we're going to just take a couple minutes to talk about some of the work that's been going on since the pandemic started and acknowledge all the organizing that people have been doing in really less than ideal circumstances. So just want to give a couple of shout outs to things that have been going on within this campaign and some of the really important behind the scenes work that's been going on. We have a really amazing court and legal support team and really amazing court support. So for everyone who's gone on a court call at like 7 a.m. on Zoom, it's super weird. Thank you for doing that. That's a really important part of our work together. We've had a lot of folks working on internal communications, so making sure that people know what's going on, helping affinity groups stay plugged in, helping communications flows, and doing outreach and whatnot, and publications, and just spreading the word on what we're doing, and then also what those around us in the movement ecosystem are doing. So thanks to everyone who's been working on that. And we've also been working on a utility strike, which we're going to have a skit about in a moment. And the folks in the skit will tell you more about it, but there's been a lot of people in this crowd have been doing a lot of organizing around, reaching out around New England, telling people we don't need to pay our utility bills. That's part of this entire unjust system that we can remove our consent from, and continuing that principle of removing our consent from the system and taking direct action far beyond the plan itself into our relationships with money and with bills. So everyone in the crowd, thank you so much who's been working on this. Can we just all give yourself a round of applause? I know there's been a lot of work. So thank you for being a part of that. If you've mailed coal, if you've called people, thank you for being a part of that. And now we're going to hear about this strike from our skit friends. So I'm going to just introduce them really quick. Oh, Dana's going to say something. Oh. Yes. We're going to move up so that we're going to be in the sunshine, and then the skit will be over here. Okay. I'm still attached to it. Okay. Now we'll be warmer. Here? Okay. Great. Thanks, Dana. Dana is our
Should we move this back?
stage and site manager and has been organizing all the stuff. Yay, Dana. Okay, so our skit friends. Sonia Berthasell has been a part of the No Coal No Gas campaign since last September. She's an environmental scientist and a faith leader. She resides in Orono, Maine, with 3 rat housemates, a dog, and a dozen chickens. Isaac Peterson lives in Somerville, Massachusetts. He has been part of the No Coal No Gas campaign since last fall. Julie Masuga is 350 Vermont's fossil fuel resistance organizer. She lives and works in Burlington and has been involved in No Coal No Gas since some point last year. Yay! Thank you all. Welcome. The skit is... Do you want the microphone?
I will take it.
Cool. Round of applause for our skit friends.
Yes, hello, this is Gordon Van Wheely, CEO of ISO New England. Of course that's how CEOs answer the phone. What are you talking about? Did you secure the contract? $188 million over a 5-year period. Sounds profitable. What am I doing? Oh, I'm just trying to figure out how to subsidize this phone call.
Ring, ring. Oh, Isaac, honey, let me put you on speakerphone.
Hi, Great Aunt Florence. I had a question. What do you think is the scariest thing I could be for Halloween?
For Halloween?
Yes.
Oh, well, the best thing to be for Halloween is obviously an owl.
No. I said the scariest thing I could be for Halloween. You see,
Definitely, absolutely, the only thing to be for Halloween is an owl. I've been an owl for Halloween every year since I was 8, and that's when they stopped flashing feathers, you see. And before that, your grandmother always made me dress up as a dentist.
Dentist?
Oh yes, dentists are terrifying. They're so scary. You should be a dentist if you want to scare somebody, honey. But you know it's not nice to scare people.
But I have a really good reason to scare somebody. You see, it's Gordon Van Wally, and
Wiley like the coyote. Is that coyote still running off cliffs?
No, not the coyote, but he is running us off a cliff. You see, so he is the one who decides if New England is going to keep using fossil fuels on the grid.
Who are you calling a fossil? You're not going to get any candy if you're rude like that.
I don't want candy, Great Aunt Florence. I want New England to stop burning fossil fuels. And
Yeah.
so that's why I need to scare Gordon Van Wally.
Oh, well,
And so we need to stop propping up, so we can stop propping up the coal industry with subsidies from our electric bill.
subsidies from our electric
Yes,
bills.
so-
I didn't know that owls paid electric bills.
Well, owls pay the consequences of climate inaction, but like about 10% of everyone's electric bills in New England on average go to fossil fuel subsidies.
Whoa, that sounds really scary.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't go as a dentist after all. Bye, honey.
Ring, ring. tell these people what the scariest Halloween costume is, but I'm just not getting any good answers.
Well, tell me about it. What have people been saying?
Oh, you know, vampires, skeletons, or some other suggestions. But here's the thing, I need to be scary to one guy in particular.
Oh, really? Why?
So his name is Gordon Van Welly, and basically he runs the New England ISO, which it's kind of obscure, but it manages the...
Hold on right there. I know who Gordon Van Welly is, and I know exactly how to scare him.
That's great, because honestly, I don't even know where I would find dentist tools.
What? Well, anyway, you should scare Gordon Van Wiley by joining the New England utility strike.
That's not a costume.
Oh, it's better than a costume. Check out my rad sash.
So how does it work?
Well, it's really simple. You just stop paying your electricity bill. What could be scarier to someone who puts profits ahead of the environment than to stop the flow of money?
Is that even legal? Well, okay, like maybe with a bunch of extra fees or like turn off my power.
Well, not really. Some states in England still have moratoriums from the pandemic, so they can't shut off your utility right now, and also they'll generally send multiple warnings and notices first.
That's still, like, that feels like a really risky thing to do just to send a message.
So that's why we pledged to do it together. There's safety and power in numbers. That's why you never see just one zombie, right?
Yeah. Or just one dentist.
Huh?
Never mind. So like I just stop paying it? How will they know I just didn't forget?
So instead of sending your payment, you can send them money to
People have been doing really incredible things during the pandemic, running mutual aid groups, helping feed our neighbors. We have affinity groups that have been doing things. We have a lot of folks here who have been involved in pipeline resistance, a lot of which has won. Yay! Emma Schapp, would you like to explain what happened to Granite Bridge?
We stopped the Granite Bridge pipeline!
Yay! The Granite Bridge pipeline is done. All right, Julie, what else has been going on with pipelines in Vermont?
Now that I'm no longer Gordon Van Welly, we prevented fossil fuel frack gas build out in Rutland, Moncton, and Bristol, Vermont.
Amazing. 3 different build-outs that have been stopped. There's also been a lot of people here who have been doing really important racial justice and housing justice work. I know of several encampments that people in this crowd have participated in, and we have some new friends from those encampments joining us today. So round of applause for that. Amazing work, everyone. And also just acknowledging that a lot of people have been doing the really important work of taking care of ourselves and our family in the pandemic. And that itself is really crucial community building work and labor that should be acknowledged. And if we can all take a moment to acknowledge the people who are watching or who could not join us today, who are back home because they are taking care of loved ones, because they're taking care of their family or students, that is really important part of community survival. So we can just take a moment to have a round of applause for everyone at home and all the work that is. Thank you all for being a part of all of this. Great. So now we're gonna introduce Quincy, who's gonna talk about the work that she's been involved in. Quincy has been working for New Hampshire Youth Movement since June of 2019 and is currently serving as co-director of the Development and Operations Department. Quincy comes from a background of radical intersectional feminism and work surrounding the queer and trans communities. She has also organized with Bernie Sanders' 2016 campaign, the New Hampshire Campaign for a Family-Friendly Economy, the New Hampshire Community Loan Fund, and Next Gen America, as well as various on-campus campaigns. She will be talking about the Green New Deal and the importance of organizing both within and outside of elections. Give it up for Quincy.
Thanks, everybody. Hi. As they said, my name is Quincy Abramson. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I live in Dover, and I'm one of the directors of New Hampshire Youth Movement. I want to recognize all the people who have worked really freaking hard in this fight. all of those who've put their bodies on the line, who've been arrested, and to everyone here for making me feel welcome to participate in this coalition in whatever capacity I'm able to do so. I'm also here as a comrade in all fights for liberation, as a former community member of Bow and Concord, and as someone with family living a few miles down the road, including my 5-year-old brother who grew up and has grown up in Bow. Having a brother that young, especially with the events of the past year, is often really terrifying, kind of like having a child, although I don't know what that's like. Thinking about my own future is already so daunting, and I worry about whether he will even have a future, let alone what that future will look like. But having him in my life can also be really exciting and inspiring, because it helps me remind myself that he can actually reap the benefits of the things that we are fighting for, of the future that this movement is fighting for. I graduated with student debt, but by the time he goes to college, he could have free college. I don't know what I'm gonna do about my health care when I turn 26, but he could be automatically enrolled in Medicare for all. One thing I do know is that he's growing up down the road from this coal plant, a plant that we knew was harming people over a decade ago, in addition to harming our land, air, and water. So that's why I'm still here in New Hampshire fighting. I thought I would leave this state the second I could, but a year and a half after college, I'm still here. And that's because I realized how important this state is to me and the communities within it are. It's also because I'm really angry at our elected officials for failing to represent us. Elected officials I helped get in office over the past 5 years of organizing. I'm still here because I know in New Hampshire, I have the power to make tangible change. Heck, you can flip a state Senate district in one phone bank. In New Hampshire, we have so much access to our elected officials to hold them accountable and then take action in the streets if and when they still don't listen to us. I'm still here because I won't let politicians harm the people and places I care about for the sake of political expediency and money. That's why I organize year-round, inside and outside of elections. In New Hampshire, we get bombarded by electoral politics. And don't get me wrong, elections are important. I know you all know that. But what happens after elections, especially what's going to happen after this election, is arguably more important. I'm in this for the long haul, because that's what it's going to take to get a Green New Deal, free college for all, Medicare for all, land back, community safety, decarceration, and so many other things. That's why I also want to remind all of you to take care of yourselves. This isn't a sprint to the election. Movements can only be successful with active, sustained participation on a mass scale. We can't afford to lose the momentum after this election like we did in 2016. So make sure that you're showing up sustainably. New Hampshire Youth Movement and all our allies here will be still fighting after this election's over. We'll keep fighting this coal plant and all fossil fuel infrastructure. We will draft legislation with progressive politicians and then hold them accountable to our vision of a shared, livable future. We will continue to mobilize in support of the movement for Black lives. As I'm sure you all know, there is no climate justice without racial justice. This movement will continue to fight and continue to win. It's 2020, and I just gotta say, I'm pretty over politicians. I'm over our so-called democracy and living under racial patriarchal capitalism. So instead, I'm endorsing the power of this movement, and I hope that you will all join me. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Quincy. All right, folks. I know it's a bit brisk out. I want us to take a few minutes. Don't scatter, because we'll be coming back together in 5. But take 5 minutes to move your body, do some jumping jacks, put on another layer, get a drink, and while you're doing so, let's keep kind of this together feel. Take a moment and connect with a friend. Check in about how are you doing. So don't go too far. We'll be back together again in about 5 minutes.
It's hard to see with the sunshine.
looking at trees.
Okay, friends. I'm going to invite you to start coming back around in this area. There's no need to rush. And I'm going to invite you to just step a little bit closer, COVID in mind, whatever feels right to you. Yeah. I'll just wait. There's time to finish up conversations, take last bites. But I just want to offer some invitation to be here and to be together. I don't know about you, but this is one of the first times I've felt the collective pull of moving towards action in community in a long time. It's been a rough summer. And so much of what direct action can be is truth-telling. And telling the truth is to stand at the doorway of honesty and vulnerability and say, can I walk through this? Do I need to walk alone? David White is a poet who said, the life that you plan is too small for you to live. Which means that our plans must be emergent, that they must be able to hold uncertainty, that they must be able to hold not knowing what is the right thing to do. And so I just want to invite you into not knowing. I'm going to tell you a secret. We don't know what's going to fix climate change. We do not know what's going to bring racial healing to the millions that yearn for it. And recently I've been reflecting that I do not know even what the next month or two of my life will look like. But one thing is that I know who I am going to be with. And I know that I have been practicing and failing and trying again. And so now I just want to practice together what it means to be resonant in the self, to feel connected to the earth, which can compost our grief and our pain, and what it is like to be in connection with others. So take a breath. Breathe in and breathe out. We always have time to take a breath. Take another breath. Breathe in, breathe out. And even though we're not spreading COVID, when we do this, there's still an intermingling, a shared space. I invite you to check out where you are. Not just physically, but spiritually. Or whatever word you want to apply there, energetically. The center of you that is separate from the body that you are in, that is separate from the identity that you inhabit, but the part of yourself that you see most as you. Do you have it? Do you sense it? Does it live? Does it grow? And if you can, I want you to move that piece of yourself, stretch it. Stretching is what we do when we learn new things. Stretching is what we do when we are uncomfortable and trying to do more. Stretch it into the ground, past the asphalt, past the packed down layers of the earth. Can you feel the roots there? I don't know if anyone has noticed this massive oak tree in the corner. You can wave to it if you want. And so maybe now you are stretched from the part of yourself that is you, and it's down in the ground, and now I want you to expand it outwards. There's no rush in this. There's no doing it right. Is it mingling? Is it touching? Do you feel connected? It's okay if you don't. For the next maybe 20 minutes or so, I'm just going to experiment with you, which is vulnerable. And I'm going to invite you to stay in a place that feels like you can stretch. Because when we shift our relationship to taking risks with one another, we shift it when we take risks against domination and against violence. And so I invite you into that exercise. And throughout the course of this, I just want to offer a little couple of notes to sing with. And we can return back to these anytime that we want. And it's not that difficult. If you're not someone who thinks of yourself as a singer, luckily you're wearing a mask. And it's just a few things. It goes, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh. 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 Keep going without me for a second. Excellent. Keep it going if you can. You can stop anytime. I'm going to invite us to go over to the end of this parking lot, and if you turn left, there's a little stretch of grass in the Veterans Memorial, which is a complicated place to be. But there's grass there, and I think we should change where we're going to be. And so as we transition, I invite you to keep humming, and I invite you to just try to stay connected, whether that's through eye contact, whether that's through picking something up off the ground that you want to hold in your hand, whether that's through a wave. I'd say a gentle touch, but we can't do that today. Practice what it's like to meet somebody where they are at. And you can stop humming or you can keep it going. And lastly, I just want to say thank you for the people that are showing up via the internet today. And we're actually going to say goodbye to that part of our programming, because this moment is going to be just for the people that are here, outside of any campaign and outside of any win. And so we'll say goodbye to them, and then we'll slowly start to transition over to the grass in Veterans Park. And you can keep humming or you can stop.